Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Faeria. I'm Des, and today we're going to start our Pandora journey. So we've done some standard missions, we've done some puzzle missions in this section on Faeria. I've played some online battles, but I've not done any videos with you guys yet, so we'll do some of those separately. But Pandora mode is essentially a series of battles, so we're going to go into Pandora mode and see how we get on. So in order to play Pandora mode, you have to have Pandora coins. You get one free to start with. We do have a daily quest to play Pandora mode as well. So yeah, win up to 9 games for a chance at epic rewards. Let's see if we can get some epic rewards. We'll play it multiplayer because I think you get better rewards for multiplayer. So the way Pandora works is that you get kind of options for cards and you build up a deck based on what the options they give you. So it's going to be a challenge, and we have to think about it as we go in, really, because if we pick a really weird combination, we just won't be able to play it, or we won't have a particular style that'll work. So it's got to be right. So the Grim Guard would work in terms of our sort of damage dealing from a distance mechanism. We're not that strong on the sandy sort of wind decks, so probably want to generally stay away from these. Spellwell can be quite useful to get an extra couple of cards. It doesn't cost you anything, but I think Grimguard's probably a good starting point. And to complement that, either of these work really. We'll go with the obelisk to start with. Stick to the same sort of deck style, flame spitter. So these are all things that we kind of know. So this is more of a challenging one. Do we get like a firebomb so we can just do a ranged attack? That can be quite useful if combined with the blood obelisk. Queen's assassin can be quite good for taking out some big hitters though. And then the Steam Forging Force is just generally a good card. I'm going to go Firebomb. That's a shame because we got the Flame Burst this time round. Derelict Tower, deal 1 damage to this structure. I don't particularly see the point of that so much. And I mean, I guess you can do ranged damage with it, so you can take out one enemy maybe, or do 1 damage to their opponent. You could buff its life, but it depends whether we've got any suitable cards that pop up. I'm going to hit the Flame Burst. That gives us 2 sort of range, just general attacks, so we want to avoid any more of those. Probably either the Freedom Fighter or the Underground Brigand. Freedom Fighter, the haste is useful, and this guy is the bonus Faeria from combat. Freedom Fighter. Exalted Orb, it's fairly decent. I'm going to throw a Safeguard in because that can sometimes be a bit of a lifesaver. Storyteller. Flame Spitter, so that gives us a couple of those. So within Pandora mode you get these funky treasure cards as well that you get to play later on in the game, so you get to choose one of these. What we got? The Jeweled Magpie. Whenever this creature attacks a god, add a random treasure to your hand. It's got flying and haste. Secret Strength, give a creature flying, charge 3 and +4/+4. That's pretty powerful. Change the base attack and life of all friendly creatures to 6/6. So both of those are pretty good. I'm going to go with Aurora's Teapot. I've got an Aurora card, I like Aurora, so I'm going to go with the Teapot. It's kind of funky. We've got a couple of Flame Spitters already. don't have any major hitters, but it's not necessarily something that we need if we can pick up with a lot of these sort of these cards which do damage to the enemy. Gift of Steel might be quite good though, because if we can pump that onto like the Grim Guard, kind of makes it a bit stronger. Quite like the Devouring Plant. That can be useful as a sort of defensive mechanism, or even when you're kind of attacking, to be fair, because it does damage to it deals 2 damage to all adjacent creatures, so that's quite good. We'll go with that. Cephas Fodder. A random card in your hand costs 7 less. Cost you 4 in the first place, so it actually costs 3 less. You get the trip on the Flame Spitters. They're just good low level cards, useful for taking out simple things. We've got a Blood Obelisk already. Wisdom can be quite good just to get a few extra cards, so I might go with that. Lord of Terror might be a good combination, because if we can do some damage deals from a distance, then we can kind of buff this guy's damage. We've got 3 Flame Spitters, don't anymore. Hilltop Archer with the ranged attack can be quite useful, so I'm going to take one of those. Taunt card, that's worth getting in there. Battle Rager, that fits in with our deal damage back sort of mechanism. Bold Bargainer is great because that kind of basically gives you a free card. So it kind of makes the Ogre nearly free if we can get one of those out at the same sort of time. What we got here? Bloodstone Golem. Create one Faeria in each well. Whenever Faeria is harvested, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Interesting. Whenever Faeria is harvested, deal damage to your opponent. That's pretty decent. Crystal Dragon's just a powerful enemy, really. Flying Gift, destroy all adjacent creatures, structures and land. Boom, destroy everything. It's quite expensive though, so I might take the Bloodstone Golem. Cost you 10, you get 12, so it gives you 2. You get 2. No, and you've got to have 2 water tiles, which is a bit meh for what we're after. Ranged Cobalt War Beast is a fairly kind of sound card. I'm going to take another Taunt card because they can be vital. Fire Elementals, really useful at the early stages. We don't have a Krog, so Krog's Dinner is a bit of a gamble because we don't necessarily might not see Krog come up. It's another Lord of Terror. Is it a gamble to have 2 Lord of Terrors in there though? No, we're going to have to go with it, I think. Bloodsinger, that's what we need. The Steinbrute with the Fire Elemental. I kind of want both. Can I have both? I'll take the Fire Elemental. Gabriel Enchantment's good. I like that card, but it doesn't really fit with the deck that we've got. So I'm going to take the Falcon Dive. Boulder Thrower, I like that one as well. But the Volcanic Colossus costs 1 less for each enemy creature that has died in combat. We'll probably lose a few, but we'd have to lose. I'm going to take the Boulder Thrower. I think the cheaper option is probably better. I mean, it'll do 3 damage to whatever we can throw something at, and it also does damage to adjacent enemies, so it's kind of useful. We'll shove the Red Devil in there as a hard hitter, and gain 2 Faeria with the Underground Boss. I think that's a reasonable shout. And then our final treasure card. Draw 2 cards and gain 2 Faeria. Add 2 copies of the last treasure your opponent played to your hand. Interesting. Give a creature a flying charge 3 in plus 4/4. It's all kind of liked earlier. So we'll take that one. There we go, that's our deck. So it's 4.8 cost, so not too bad, slightly expensive. with some of these high-end cards, but we should be okay with that, I think. So let's go in, first battle. So I think we get 3 lives within this, and once we've got 3 lives you're out. But it's stack up as many wins as you can. I think up to like 9 on with the 3 lives. So we'll see how we go, see how we get on. And yeah, we'll probably run this across a few episodes if we do well. If we do badly, well then it could be over pretty quick, but hopefully, yeah, we'll run it across a couple of episodes, so look out for those. Yeah, Pandora mode. Just searching for a game now. It doesn't usually take too long, but then I'm normally just searching for normal online battle games, so Pandora mode may take slightly longer because they may want people that are playing Pandora sort of, rather than just online battles. Just have a sip of water. So it's been quite hot here recently. It made playing Monday Night Rocket League last night a challenge. I mean, me and Masterless were both sat there kind of with fans blowing at us for most of it, keeping us cool. Oh, so we've got ourselves a game. Yeah, so it's been quite warm, which is a challenge when you're wearing these sort of headsets. They get a little sweaty around the ears. So if I take it off for a moment, that's probably because I'm getting a bit hot. So, not bad. I'm tempted to drop the Lord of Terror out because I don't know whether we're going to get too many attacks on, and then just going to get a good buff straight away. I'm going to drop that guy out. That kind of works quite well, actually. So I believe this works in that there's these Pandora shards. Once the Pandora shards kind of come out of your deck, once you've hit 5 of them, the Faeria wells get plugged up. The amount of Faeria magic you get increases, and the those treasures then become available for you to use. Standard sort of starting approach. We're up against potentially a win deck, but I got, you know, it's Pandora mode. You could have picked a variety of stuff. 2 win tiles, so definitely got some of the sandy win stuff in there. Okay. Lord of the Wastes, powerful in terms of attack, but sort of kind of low in terms of its health. Move that guy over there. If we drop those 2 in there, then we can kind of get him into that sort of move method. Half tempted to hold off from doing anything else yet because he's not close. We can't really do anything at value, so I might just wait and hold up to those Faeria points. It's coming down that right hand side, so we're going to have to sort of be prepared to defend over this way eventually. He's got the air elemental there, which is the equivalent of our fire elemental. Okay, so we got our ranged hilltop archer. If I move this guy there, and deploy that guy there, I think he can then shoot across at the Lord of the Wastes then. So as long as he doesn't move off of that sort of trajectory, we can get some damage onto Lord of Wastes, which is pretty good. We can then kind of dot the fire elemental in between these Faerias whilst we've got the Faeria wells open. And thinking it might be good to kind of put some of these down. We can convert them to the fire tiles later, just as it's going to scare him a bit. He's probably going to place 2 down here then, so we're kind of keeping him back in that area a little bit. Oh, end turn. So there we go, there's a shard of Pandora coming out, so you can see that the Pandora mode sort of is progressing on. Because he's not gone defensive, so that's kind of interesting. Has moved out of my range with the Hilltop Archer though, unfortunately. Because the issue we do have with the Hilltop Archer is you can't move and attack at the same time. So if I move him, I can't then attack in that same turn, so it's kind of pain in certain senses. If we use the Freedom Fighter there on that guy, it wouldn't be great for us particularly. We could drop down the Grim Guard into this sort of spot. because he's got 5 health, so if both of those attacked we'd lose him, but we'd actually do damage to the enemy as well. So that's reasonable. We'll do that move to get those extra points. Yeah, it'd be really good if we could got the blood obelisk or something like that involved. We're going to have to start thinking about our defensive positions now, because he's getting in close with Lord of the Wastes. I mean, we've got these tiles covered off, so if they do come into this sort of position, we can hit them at range defensively. But ideally, we don't want them to get that close. There we go. So that's the first blood. Second blood. So that's kind of doing what we wanted. Just throwing out all the cards now. Another shard. It's useful. Yeah, because if we can use Freedom Fighter plus the Gift of Steel in this sort of position, it's going to do some decent damage. I am going to play... Thinking there, or should we? What do you think? What should we go? Awkward. To be fair, if we, we'll struggle. We'll lose him if we do that. Okay, so yeah, if we play that one there, we're going to encourage them to drop one in there. We couldn't. I mean, either way, they could still get in one close. But you never know, you might start walking around rather than dropping land tiles in there, who knows, might get lucky. Thinking we need to get the Lord of Terror out, because we're starting to do damage to our opponent, so we're missing out on an opportunity there. It's a shame that we can't deploy that and that at the same at this go, but on our next turn we can drop them both down, get a decent bit of attack on there, and we'll be able to buff Lord of Terror. Okay, that's not so good because he's got a buff against gods. So what we want to do is drop that down there, buff it with that, do an attack. This guy is now, boom, look at that, 6 attack, beautiful scenes. If we, let's think about this now. What's valuable to do? If we move this way, we could take out that guy, which would probably be really good because of that +3 against gods. Same time, I kind of want to get away from this so that our archer can shoot in from range, so I might go that way. Then if he goes in for here to get the attack, we can still do a ranged attack there, and we'd have the flame spitter, which can do the extra 1 bit of damage. Might move this guy in to sort of there-ish, take out him, because I think we probably, you know, we're collecting a reasonable amount of Faeria with this guy at the moment. And we need to kind of be able to keep on with that attack, and the 2 of those would have taken that guy out. One of them's done it anyway, but it's not so bad. It's not so bad. There we go. That's what we were expecting to come in. That's a nasty one. Deal 2 damage to your opponent on last words with Cephas fodder, so we could deploy that in. So what's our best move? If we move that in there to do that, we're going to lose it. We do ranged attack there. Drop the flame spitter in there. We can kill him off. We can then use this guy on that guy. Oh, it's a real shame that we hadn't got one of the damage dealing cards out, or the blood obelisk, because this would have been really decent for that. Yeah, so we'll have to do that. From a defensive perspective, it's our best move, I think. And if we shove one of those in up there, we've got a couple of strong sort of attacking sort of positions then. Hopefully we can maybe get a decent card plus the bold bargainer in. Yeah, not too shabby then. 4 shards. So that tile that's doing us some trouble. Oh, Pandora awakens. So there goes those. So the fact that we lost that elemental doesn't matter too much. Interesting, they changed the base attack and life of all friendly creatures 6/6. We just got that. That's really valuable. It's a shame we don't have something with haste on it or anything like that, but I'm thinking if we play the bold bargainer in, oh, why did he pick that one? It'd be a shame if it didn't. We're gonna have to go with Cephas fodder, Aurora's teapot. It's a decent starting point. Hopefully they can't take out both of those with whatever they've got in their deck, and that would be game over then, or they get something super awesome which destroys our god. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got it. Feeling positive. It's a close one though. It's filling up the board. Deal 3 damage, deal 3 damage to... Ooh, that's... Yeah, I didn't see what the rest of that was, but I thought that was going to be bad then. But we're okay. Oh, there's the blood obelisk. Bit late, mate, but there we go. Happy days. Pandora victory number 1. Whoop whoop. So standard reward off the back of that, but once we kind of get to the end of the Pandora run, we'll get a little something extra, hopefully, depending on how well we've done. So win number 1 down. We don't get to change our deck or anything now. It stays as it is. Let's go on to hopefully get win number 2. I mean, it's not an ideal deck that we've got out, in the sense that there's lots of 1s. There's not lots of 3 sets. So the fact that we've got lots of 1s in there means that we do not really know what's going to come out in what order. Whereas you've got a high likelihood of, say, the Fire Elemental, the Lord of Terror to come out, and obviously the Flame Spitter. So it's better if you can get higher values in some of these, so that you know what's coming. Recently had a great comment on one of the Faeria YouTube videos, giving me some advice on that with some of my decks, in that they were very quite bold in that there was a lot of 1s in there, not many 2s and 3s. So I've adjusted some of those decks to kind of improve on that. Within Pandora mode, it's a little more challenging, I suppose, to really make it work that way. Fire Elemental, we want to keep that. Wisdom, draw 2 cards. That's reasonable, I suppose, at this stage of the game. And the Bold Bargainer. So yeah, I'm going to stick with it, because Bold Bargainer can allow us to get something really powerful out really early on, potentially. It's gone to the left, so let's go for the right. Let's go for the right. So explore one of those. Fire Elemental, drop it down. I mean, it's that big question. Is it better to go first and get that bonus explore? Sorry, go second and get that bonus explore? I mean, in this position, it looks like it is. But yeah, hard to say really, I suppose. It's got a mixed deck, so we've got a variety of stuff going on. Exalted Ogre, not ideal at this stage of the game, as I haven't got 10 life or less, but you know, options are limited, I suppose. Might deploy 2 of those there, throw out the wisdom. That's reasonable. Yeah, that's probably not too bad, because if we can hopefully get the Battle Rager buffed with the freedom from the Bold Bargainer, we can get that down and start doing some damage. Ancient Boar, reasonable card, one of the ones in my green deck. Firebomb, he does the 4 damage, but we don't really have anything to use that on at the moment. Yeah, I might hold on to the Storyteller for them for now, and say put that in there. We'll drop down the Kobold Warbeast. That'll allow them to sort of cancel each other out and prevent them getting too much of the bonuses from the Ancient Boar. Mind it there. Let's give him a greetings. Yay, we got a greetings back. It's a nice person. Give a greeting +2/4. Oh, nice. Good move on the old Ancient Boar. Kind of glad in some ways that he's had to kind of use it in that sort of method. We can use also the Firebomb on it to take it out, should we decide to. Don't really want to use the Exalted Ogre at the minute. Doesn't give us much. Yeah, limited with our options. I'll deploy those there though, because it kind of strengthens up our attacking position should we be in the red position later, to drop some down. And yeah, I think I'll take him out with that. We don't want to get in a buff. See what he brings. Got an interesting sort of whirlwindy avatar there. Not seen that one. Or if I have, I've not noticed it before. Okay, forest, a bit more forest. So he's fairly evenly balanced. Three forest, two fire at the minute. One of each card. Oh, Wild Avenger. I do like the Wild Avenger. Taunt dash and what gains 1 damage every time the gods dealt damage that turn or something like that. Pretty decent. Well, in the game, I should say. Oh, Boulder Thrower. Do like me a good Boulder Thrower. Can I get it into the mix though? That's the question. If I moved him over there, we could take a Faeria point, throw down the Boulder Thrower, which would allow us to attack the Wild Avenger from range with 3 damage. So it's going to encourage him to come at us, really. I mean, I know he's got dash 2, so he can get it stuck in there. But it's okay. It's okay. It's not ideal. Boulder Thrower is great if you can kind of drop him here, really, because then you can boom, 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 ranged attack onto their gods. Yeah, ranged attack onto the god, and if they've got anything defensively, it'll take him out as well. But he has actually kind of encouraged him away from that Faeria spot for now. Get that bonus Faeria. Ooh, Gift of Steel. Very nice. Interesting. We can't drop anything big down. Kind of a shame, really. If we go like that and think maybe sort of like that, so that they don't get too close, we can move this guy there, that guy there, and hopefully we're going to encourage this guy to move again. If not, it's getting us closer to that sort of central position for a god attack. No point in using Gift of Steel or anything like that at the minute. Might as well wait, see if we can get Bold Bargainer and the Battle Rager out. There is the risk that he'll use the Bold Bargainer buff on something else, but sometimes you kind of got to go with it. He's going to buff. I know, okay. Just going for it. Okay, I thought he was going to buff and go for it then, but not ideal. It's a shame that we didn't actually really get to use that guy. Kind of played him wrong. Ideally, if I could have dropped down the mountain here, we could have got 2-3 good attacks in from range. What to do? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to be bold. An Exalted Ogre. Okay, not too bad to get an Exalted Ogre for free, but it's not really what I wanted. So I'm thinking if I go in and take out the Wild Avenger with that, we can drop the Exalted Ogre in there, and it can collect our Faeria for now. I may... they can drop a tile in there anyway, so I might do that just as a sort of defensive maneuver. I know he's going to get a hit in. Our options are slightly limited, unfortunately. Pandora awakens though, so that's decent. Hopefully we get a good treasure. Shame about the old wells now, so we can move the Exalted Ogre back out this way from a defensive perspective. Give a creature flying, charge 3 and 4 force, that's pretty good. So if we could use Gift of Steel on that guy, that as well. What's that going to give us? +3, +4, so 4, 7, 9, 10. So that'll do 10 attack in one go. That's pretty beast. So he's got the same thing. That's not so good. But we can be defensive. It's not really what I'd like to have done, but we need to, or otherwise we're going to lose. So we can throw the Queen's Guard in. He's going to do 9 on us, so we need to do more than that. If we did the +4/+4, that would put us on 7, 2 hits, and it'd be a goner, so we wouldn't need to waste both. Though he has probably just added that campfire in, which would buff it +1 again. And we don't have enough Faeria points, which is silly. Yeah, that could be game changing, unfortunately. I'm going to have to start moving this guy in as well, because if he does take him out, at least then we can go in there with another attack on our next turn. I might take the Faeria point and end it there. Just kind of holding him at bay for the moment. Okay, so if we can use Secret of Strength on that one, we can take him out with our next turn. It's not ideal because he's still going to have this Axe Grinder there. What's this one? Bloodstone Golem, create 1 when Faeria is harvested, deal 1 damage to your opponent. That's pretty decent as well. But yeah, it's our starting point. I probably could have used the Gift of Steel on it, and then we'd have been able to take that guy out as well. Yeah. Do that. Play. Oh, I did that wrong. Did it wrong. So you know, sometimes you just want to undo because you did things in the wrong order. You've just been stupid, proper stupido. Do that. If we deploy him down here, up there, down here, up there, up there. we can Flame Burst does 3. If we do that, we can use Flame Burst on that guy. Drop this out here, and that's that. So on our turn, it's going to drop Faeria into the wells, so we can get some damage dealt onto him. It's not ideal, it's not great. We could have done better. And that's a shame too. Ouch. There we go, so that's game over. So I think I probably could have played that better. I made some mistakes, but that's what happens. So we got 1 win, 1 loss, and we've set up our deck. So that's episode 1 of Pandora mode in Faeria. Oh, leveled up as well, always good. So episode 1 Pandora mode Faeria done. Look out for episode 2, where we'll hopefully carry on and get a couple of wins under our belt. But you know, it's our first go, it's our first attempt at making a deck up like this, so I think we'll learn as we go on how to do it better maybe. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you've got some advice for me on how to make a better Pandora deck, really some good combinations, then drop me a message. Yeah, subscribe, that'd be great. And look out for my Twitter posts. Check me out on Facebook as well if you're on that. And I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.